Hey everyone, how are you doing this evening?
Good evening, folks.
Oh, what a day. I actually got to do some gardening today. Well, sort of. I got to sit on my N9 Ford tractor and I changed out the attachments on it, took the snow blade off the back, put the landscape quote rock slash rock rake on there, and puttered up and down through the new orchard, knocking all the weeds down, ripping them out, did a bunch of that area. Then I went around the 2.5 acres and made about 6, 7 passes around it, all the way around it. Worked my way in from the outside, trying to make sure I got a nice level path for the trucks from the um, dairy farm here to come in here anytime now to start tossing manure.
So let's see what we got here. We got just-in-time prepping. We got Miss Julie. We got Michael. We've got Sandalo. That's it.
Ontario Homestead.
Well, he said he didn't know if he was going to stay awake, so I didn't know if I should mention him or not. I didn't want to wake him up.
He showed up. Just say, hey, hi. If he's still here, he's still
Well, I
there.
didn't want to wake him up if he fell asleep in his chair.
And Phelan Clan Wolf.
Stringfield, Chris and Sharon.
Here they come. Hey.
It's a stampede. Look out.
Howie should be coming over here any minute too, because he ended his live stream as well. Packing beef while you listening. I wish we were packing beef here. But yeah, so yeah, I spent about 3.5 hours out there on the tractor, puttering around in the fields, getting everything knocked down. Hey, Howie. So better get something else ready here real quick before I forget. Get a couple. Problem with me is I get a cough. I call it my catch-22 cough. I'll get one, and usually I get it in December, but I didn't get this till about 3 weeks ago. And what happens, I get some post-nasal drip, all this stuff that irritates the back of my throat. I start coughing. The more I cough, the more my throat gets irritated. So I cough more because it's irritated. So it just goes on and on. So I wind up going through several big bags of Halls and other stuff, trying to get rid of it. Of course, I forgot to take my Sudafed and my Mucinex today, so that didn't help things either, but might as well go ahead and with all the stuff blooming, I'll probably have a little bit of allergies kicking up here. So
we've had rain for the last 24 hours. Most of our pollen is on the ground at the moment.
We had rain, we had snow and then rain early this morning. And then and then everything dried out pretty well, and the stuff you guys see stuff blowing in there, but I didn't ding on me to, hey, go take some meds. So
somebody made a comment about you.
You missed it last night. Hey, the special equinox, spring equinox. It's springtime, time to do spring cleaning and clean up the faces, guys. So anyone that has facial hair, my challenge is out there. We had no shaved November. Well, now it's springtime, time to clean your faces. Get rid of that fuzz.
Nope.
Yep. So let's see. Got yeah, I left the eyebrows here. Mm-hmm. And I'm saving this for my wife to take care of when she gets up here. That's why I've always had a mustache or a some sort of lower facial hair.
On a good note, I did pick up a bunch of fruit concentrate juice stuff today, and a couple loaves of bread. As you can see, there's still a few sitting there I haven't put away yet. Hello,
Yeah.
Cecilia.
Hey. All right, so let's get some stuff going here and get this ball rolling a little bit. So we're going to be talking about greenhouses, high tunnels, grow lights, and a whole lot more. So let's get over here. So for greenhouses, these are some things to pay. All right, so this is a greenhouse.
No,
Not
that's
to put
$1.3 million sitting there going to waste.
Now, I did some research, and a lot, and technically definitions on stuff nowadays is how they change definitions around. For a difference between a greenhouse and a high tunnel has to do with these things up here, heaters.
In a regular greenhouse, you wouldn't need them.
But they said, otherwise they refer to, they classify it a little bit differently when I was looking up definitions on them and stuff. So here's some other ones they have heaters in them again, but this is a little more, not quite as big operation. And let's take a look here. Yeah, so you got all your different type things. Some have big old fans to just to cool it down when it gets too hot. And some also have the heaters on. In fact, one of our neighbors here has a greenhouse that has one of those big old fans on it, and she also has a heater on it, and it's a really big greenhouse. Here's one that has air conditioning.
I could live in that one.
And heaters. Has a fan up here, and it has roof vents as well. So yeah, that's a real nice one. No, I can't afford it. No, can anybody else here?
No.
Here's one that is just green with green tinted glass, and it's like a house, but it doesn't have a heater, but it has lights in it.
Yeah, Gil.
Yeah.
Careful on your enunciation of words. You start to sound like a valley girl right there. It
has
windows, and it has.
I was trying to figure how it is. That's because I got marbles in my mouth. Oh no, I got cough drops in my mouth. Butch says he added a simple box fan to his greenhouse, dropped it over 20 degrees.
Hey, Tibor. Hey, Jake.
All right, so the next one here. Hey, Tibor. There's a little one that has a fan on it to help clear it. It's also for all these have had glass on them too, or plexiglass or something. Another nice little green house. Now you get back into the dome-shaped ones, which generally have a plastic stretched over them, heavy-duty 10 mil. All right, go help Lee.
Run. Yes, thumbs up, people, please. Thumbs up.
Thank you, Julie, for reminding us.
11 out of 17.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now this one here is interesting. This is one of the ones. It's got that rigid fiberglass plastic on the end of it here by the heater. It's got the stretch plastic on the sides, and it actually has it where it drops down. They can drop it down to ventilate it if it gets too hot in the summertime. Hey, Mama Z. There's another one here. We'll talk a little bit more in depth of these once we get through it a little bit. Now here's one with the plastic all around it, and this is similar to what my neighbor has. Hers looks very similar to this, and I think my neighbor's is a little bit longer than this one is. And then you also have the commercial ones that stretch plastic over it. The plastic rolls up here and it rolls up here. So you have two different ways they can open up to vent it out so it doesn't overheat. And they got swamp coolers and heater things for them. Now, high tunnels are considered not to have any heat at all in them. Generally, they don't have roof vents, but they do roll up on the side. And they look very much the same, but it's technically, they're speaking, when I was looking, think if they said greenhouses nowadays are supposed to have heaters or, coolers on them, but,
Private jet.
Okay, let's see what we've got here. All right. Go back here. I'll wait on that a little bit till I get through on stuff here. And we got back here. It is. So this is one of those little ones here. This is a more rigid one. Close. It can be easily be had heat added to it, but it's still considered a high tunnel. And here's a homemade high tunnel. Woohoo! This looks a lot more
6.5 feet deep, and
yeah. Okay, now row tubes. Poor man's high tunnel.
That looks like my sleeping bag.
Yeah,
maybe that's why I'm so tall.
Yeah, this is probably what we're going to be putting in here when my daughter gets her raised planter bed set up. So, but there's ones with solid plastic. The ones like this, which is just that insulating fabric.
Be back in a moment.
All right, so we got more insulating fabric, and some thinner insulating fabric. Then you got the solid clear plastic, collapsible stuff. And my wife actually has a couple of these, and she actually has ones that just pop out like a tray cover that covers, the dishes at a picnic to keep the flies off for small plants. But she has a couple of these, and got the ones there. You can just buy. You can buy these metal bars that go up, and just buy the plastic and stretch it over it yourself to keep your delicates going. PVC ones that snap together, and a little bit more fancy one for raised planter boxes with a little framework on it and a fitted cover for it. And I think, okay, so all right, so that's it. That's what the pictures some of the pictures I dug up for greenhouses and high tunnels and row tunnels. Now, what I didn't show, and some of you are probably expecting it because I've talked about it, showed it enough, are the Wallopinis. Like Dave was saying, it's dug down into the ground 6 feet, and then you have the top over it, and it's more of usually the heating on it is geothermal, so it classifies as a greenhouse. Southern Bless, yeah, some of those look like they were for that, but they were listed as materials as insulating material. I personally thought they were kind of, they just keep bugs out and stuff. But when I was looking up the references on them, they were calling it insulating material on it. So it might work a little bit. I thought it was a little thin. Yeah, Chris, and Sharon, the PVC pipes are great for hoops. There was a video I saw, guys, and I was trying to find it again. I couldn't find it. I wanted to share it with you what they did. When they were making their hoops, rather than just tensioning the PVC around, they built not a form sort of, we'll call it something else, a jig. They did a jig for get the next one here ready to go. Okay, they did a jig for the shape they wanted it in. They had plywood out there, and they had pegs in it. What they did is they heated up the PVC by pouring boiling water into it, and they let it sit hot for a couple of minutes. Then they laid it in the jig, And once it was formed to the thing, then they hooked a garden hose to it and blew cold water through it. And it set back up. That way, when they took out the jig, it stayed formed. It didn't try to spring back out straight. So that was a really neat thing, I thought, to get your PVC to bend more where it won't snap on you while you're trying to bend it. And it will, heats it up, makes it pliable, and then run cold water through it and it sets it back up. Now, I noticed a lot of people use the white PVC. And Anthony had mentioned this on Tuesday night, is that the white PVC has a tendency to degrade because it's not UV resistant. And you get the like little burn coloring on it and stuff. The thing to do though, and I forgot to mention it to him then, is to do use the gray electrical UV rated PVC. Yeah, blue heat gun works also, but it's kind of hard to get it all hot to form, a big 10-foot piece of PVC or 20-foot piece of PVC to bend the way you want to with a heat gun. But if you just pour boiling water in and just let it sit for a minute, it doesn't feel really good. Yeah, you got to be careful with heating PVC if heating it too hot and degrading it. So you got to be careful about how much heat you apply to it. That's why the boiling water works perfectly. You just a couple minutes, soft, pliable. You put it in the jig, run the cold water through it, and it sets back up again. Yeah, Chris, the white gets brittle, especially out in the sun or in the cold. And if you're trying to move it around in the cold, it has a tendency to crack. Doesn't heat it as you. Okay, I'm trying to understand what you're saying there, Blue Healer, about no, it doesn't heat it as you go. Hey, Kathy. Yeah. So, but that's one of the things I wanted to show you guys on the for the PVC and stuff. I forgot to mention last Tuesday when we had Anthony on here from Palmetto Prepared. The neat thing about some of those the greenhouses or high tunnels is that it gives you a lot better extension on your growing season, either early or late. Especially with the like the one in the background here, you can barely see it now, but let's see if I can bring it this way. Will that make it? It makes me too big. Too big. Oh, too big the other way. All right. So you got to make sure if you're building your own, make sure you have a way to vent it. Okay, Blue, here I see you want to just heat it as you go around. Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah. If you do it in the heat of the sun and heat of the day out there when it's really hot, it softens it up a bunch too. The other thing, if you're going to be doing one of your own, there's several different other ways to do your greenhouse. To do it, and let me see if I get this other thing here changed over here. I'm going to switch to order here and bring the other one up here. Not grow like this one. This is a little short one here. Now I found this out. I had known about this, but Butch says he got his greenhouse down to 100 degrees today. Now I need shade cloth to get it down more. It was only 61 degrees outside and it was over 100 inside. Wow. All right, so put that up there. Let's go over here to this. Okay, thermal beds. I don't know if anybody's thought about doing thermal beds to extend the growing season. This is it's been around for a while and I just totally spaced and forgot about it until I started doing more research today. So let me go over here and find the, all right, simple ways of doing thermal beds. They actually run the heat tubing like you would for heating a cement pad or a floor in the house. You run that through the beds, and then you pile all your dirt up on top of that. Some, they just get some of the black watering pipe and they just loop it around and then pile the dirt on it and then run their warm water through it. And they even have some that are electrical that you can use. And then some that are just air, like the geothermal. And so you draw it from down deeper in the ground and you draw the warmer air up and run it through so it keeps the bed warmer. And this is a more commercial type setup where they're running a lot of tubes down there to heat up the bed. And a simple diagram.
I'm back.
Cool. And so with this one here, yeah, you basically got your, you put a wire mesh down and you do heat cables. And these could be, excuse me, these could be even as simple as the heat cables you use in the gutters to keep it from freezing in the gutters. And you just run those underneath. It just heats it up a little bit and provides more warmth for the planter bed or little heat box or whatever you're going to use to do it. And then there's the poor man's way, which I probably would have done it. Get the little LED or the little, not LED, the other lights, the in string rope lights and stuff. Those things get pretty warm. And you can, like here, they're just using on the surface to put underneath the trays of the pots to provide a little extra heat. But if you put that down, 12, 18 inches down into the ground, it'll keep the ground pretty warm. And I believe that's the end of that one. Yeah.
Hi, Kathy. I seen it.
Yeah, the tubes. So you run into now. You basically run the hot water through some of the tubes, and then it radiates the heat out. For some of those, yeah, you have to run it to a hot water heater or some sort of a heating unit to heat the water to a certain temperature. You can also use one of those like a central boiler outdoor wood furnaces where you stoke it up and it heats the water, and that way you're not burning through your electrical bill or your gas bill trying to heat the garden. It's another way to help it on that. And drop that down. So, all right, he says, my cheap hard to regulate the heat, need ventilation more. Yeah, there are some really cool things on Amazon I saw. They're the spring pneumatics that are set so that as it gets hot, they just open up, and so you have your window thing on the top there, and you just hook it up to it. It kind of opens it up. Well, you don't have to do it; it does it automatically as whatever temperature you get those rods for. They're on Amazon though, and you can get them you get the whole window frame if you want, or you can just get the rods and build your own. But it's something that's really neat. Yeah, also, if you go check out Daniel Arms at Arms Family, he put in a big high tunnel. He put one that has a clamshell on the one end. So basically it goes across and it rounds down. So the hoops are just kind of laid down as it goes down. So he can actually just crank it and open up that entire end open. And in the middle, he has two of the clamshells where they open up like this to allow ventilation in the middle. And then you can also open up the door on the other end. So the next thing here I want to show up here.
I have an idea for some people.
Okay.
Living in urban areas, find your local pot dealer and say, look, when you decide to change out your LED light night growing LEDs for newer ones, can I get your old ones? Get some cheap LED grow lights.
Yeah, not a bad idea. Of course, some of those guys are so cheap they'll wait until they die, until they burn out before they replace them.
Not the ones I know, unfortunately. They rolling in the dough.
Thanks, Kathy. Yeah, Kathy put up Daniel's high tunnel. He got his from Gardening with Leon is where he bought it from. But let's hit this thing here. So speaking of grow lights.
I'm sorry. I should have waited.
No, it's perfect. Perfect lead into it. So grow lights, not glow lights. Grow lights.
But they'd be glowing in the dark.
Yeah, and so let's go over to the next. Come on, mouse. Move. There it goes. These are some of the old school ones. I thought I'd start out with old school. These are the ones that suck down some electricity. These would really kill your. You would kill your electrical bill. This one right here, and towards the middle here, that is a tungsten halogen filament. And yeah, they really suck down the juice. 1,000-watt bulbs.
Very bright.
Yes.
You don't look at those directly.
Yeah, 1,000-watt bulbs. There's some other ones, and it comes with the
beautiful little power supply.
Yeah, the what do they call it? The ballast, the special ballast for it.
Yeah, that weighs twice as much as I do.
And some more modern ones. I can tell from looking up here. This is tungsten halogen again. The way it goes in there. And some other ones. Okay, so those were all the old school ones. Now we're getting a little bit newer. Sorry. Your fluorescent grow lights. And actually, I got one of these type lights fixtures at home in California, which I'm going to be bringing up here.
Now we know where Joe made all his money.
No, I am death on that stuff. And so there's different types of fluorescent lights. So you got to do your research on the different types, the different wattages, and everything.
Chris and Sharon, I doubt very many people use the xenon bulbs anymore. Every company's trying to get away from them super bright, high expensive, super mega draw lights.
Yeah.
They're trying to go LED cheap so they can charge you more for them.
Yeah, you can pick up plant and aquarium bulbs at Home Depot, Ace Hardware, Lowe's. And they even have compact ones that grow lights for small indoor house plants and areas and seed starting.
Tibor is correct. The popo here don't like seeing huge spikes in your power.
Mm-hmm.
I currently live at the bottom 2% of all of that stuff, or all the electric usage in my area. I'm one of the star people.
Yeah.
Because I use so little.
And that's why a lot of people are going to the LEDs, because they don't have a big draw like the other ones do. Yeah, Kathy. What we did, my wife did. She has got a couple of my shop. What?
I said, Ontario. We woke him up. He's back.
Hey, all right. He's awake.
All right, Howie, have a good night.
We have some of the shop lights, and we just took the fluorescent bulbs out of them, the regular ones, and put the ones from Home Depot, the grow ones in there. And she says that's working pretty good right now. All right, night, Howie. Yeah, come on, where we go here? Yeah, and so they even the grow light, and you don't want to look at these lights either, the fluorescent ones.
Turn them off. Turn them off.
And here's some on, showing some for seed starters and use. This is a fancy dancy setup here. Probably something from IKEA. And as you can see, they just hung up the 4-foot things in there. This wire rack is something what you can get at Lowe's or Home Depot or Sam's Club or Costco.
Or if you have a Gordon's Food Service near you, you can get one there too.
All right. We don't have a Gordon's Food Service out here.
I do.
Yeah.
Just don't have a car. Because those things
now,
I'm not carrying one of them home.
Oh, I'm looking at the other monitor. It's like, boom, wow, yeah. The LED ones are intense. Yeah, my thought exactly. Oh, my eyes. And all right, rustic tradition. Oh, sorry, jumped here. Come back up here. There we go. Do you use these during warm weather too? Well, it depends what you're doing. If you're starting stuff indoors, you can use these to start your plants early while you're rotating crops out. That way, these are growing when you're about ready to take out all your lettuce or whatever you've planted, and then you plant the other ones right behind it. That way, you can you don't have to wait a week, several weeks while it gets up to this stage to plant it. Yeah. That's when you have regular lights in there. You just turn off the grow lights for a minute, turn on the other lights so you can see what they look like.
Wear laser
goggles,
protective goggles. That'll actually allow you to see it. You have to
Hey,
have the right color.
I wonder if my special blue blocking lights ones would work.
Not really.
Hey, it looks better over there. It does look a lot better.
Oh,
all right.
I caught up.
And they have these smaller ones. I actually got one very similar to this for my wife to test out. She said the one thing it doesn't do is provide any heat, these LED ones here. And she had to have it kind of close and move the plants over next to the one of the furnace vents where it was, blowing warm air. So of course she also had to water it more, but in the middle of wintertime. This is a little bit more you can get the daylight LED ones. They're supposed to be full spectrum. So it's not just the purple, it's just not the others. It's a little bit better. So
open the pod doors, Ralph.
That's yeah. So yeah, this one works is a little bit easier on the eyes, so you can tell a little bit better on the plants. So that's another thing. When it comes to grow lights, you got to do your shopping, find out what they put out, what they look like. The better ones are the ones that do the full spectrum, so you can actually see the condition of them a little bit easier. But they also cost.
Oh wait, did somebody say they were going to bed?
A bit more. I know. Will mentioned he was going to go to bed, and he's going to go live tomorrow. And then
I guess Sand Hollow said goodnight.
Did Sand Hollow say goodnight?
He was just saying goodnight.
Yeah, he's just saying goodnight to Will. And then they got the little screw-in ones you can put in just regular outlets and stuff, and you can get these the same way. You can get them in different color spectrums. Some people claim, they're saying, oh, this color spectrum makes plants grow better. Oh, this one makes these other plants grow better. Do your research, folks, when it comes to this.
And I'll give you a fair heads up on warning. That little light right there will burn your hands.
Yeah. So these little ones like this tend to get a tad bit hot. And so if you can get the ceramic bases for them, you want to get ceramic bases.
Do yourself a favor. Do not copy me and grab a hold of one of those thinking, oh, it's LEDs. It's fine. It's stuck to my hand.
Yeah. Have you noticed this around the sides here? This is aluminum. This is a heat sink to try to disperse the heat.
It didn't work very well.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, it could be a shower head if you want to do a sun shower.
Hey, we're not in the 25th and a half century.
I don't know if anybody got that reference or not. I did. Only because I've been watching some of the old on Amazon when I couldn't sleep, and I put on the old cartoons and stuff. Duck Rogers in the 25th and a half century.
Yeah. Hey, although a UV shower in this current situation might not be a bad idea.
True.
Think about that for a minute, folks.
Hey,
UV
tanning
showers.
beds are going to make a big hit right now.
My neighbor was offered one. She actually owned it for a little bit and asked me if I knew anybody that wanted it. That was 3 years ago. I'm kicking myself in the butt for not saying yes.
Don't they have a control box to adjust spectrum manually?
Some do.
Yeah, like I said, you're probably going to pay more for them, because I know some of the ones with all these different little lights in them. You have some of them have settings, so you turn this one on, that one on, different ones on.
And nice thing is, some of those are actually have a Bluetooth connection in them. Majority of the higher end ones are Bluetooth, and you can control it with your phone.
Yeah, and so like if you have like one of those internet cameras, hooked up in there, so you can check it. Well, it can't go to work now. Oh, some people can't go to work. You can check it on your phone. Go, oh wait, I need to change the spectrum on this, or maybe turn it off, turn it on, whatever.
Yep. Scott, unfortunately, is one of those who has to return to work on Monday.
Yeah.
And Kathy, all current studies say yes.
Yeah.
So we'll leave that at that.
We'll leave that for now. And Dave, we got to remember to bring this up on Saturday night. 10-foil walls.
It's one way to keep the heat in.
Well, actually, for some of the when you're starting seedlings and stuff, if you do put some foil backer board back there, insulating board, it'll reflect the light, so we'll get more light. So you don't have to use more of these units. You can just have some back there, and you're not using more electricity, and it's reflecting it back, just like the solar cooking ovens.
Hey, Rustic.
Okay, we plan to grow indoor in the summer so we can grow more without. Oh yeah, the light options on these things are getting a lot. Right now, since it's supposed to be raining tomorrow, I'm going to be working in the basement, setting up a little greenhouse in the basement, because it will have heat in it and it will have cooling in it.
That is not what he's doing. He already told me before the live stream he's going into his basement and making himself a pool down there so he can have a nice pool while the rest of us stay out here and go, man, I wish I could go.
That's in the other part where I'm putting the hot tub in. I mean, the cool tub in. Yeah, some states that are got problems, unless it's a non-essential order. So, I mean, if you're ordering grow lights, say this is essential for growing food.
Well, actually, that's kind of Amazon's. If it's not an essential order, they're not shipping it. They decide whether it's essential or not.
Yeah.
But see, if the card I cut up and is being returned gets here in time, I'm going to call Amazon and say, look, I'm ordering this UV light. It is essential. You better ship the dang thing, or I'm going to show up at your warehouse.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, yikes. What?
Get there.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Yeah, I can. Hey, Tibor, you want to pick me up and take me down to Kentucky to go visit their warehouse? Full battle rattle.
All right. Let's see here. And then this is one of those ones that is programmable. This is a high-end one that does also, you can set the spectrum lighting on this type of one here. This is not a cheap one. But this one is also, I think it came with like a 3-year warranty on it too.
Hey, Tibor, it's not too far from the airport down there. Cincinnati Metro Airport. It's kind of kitty-wampus from it. You want to bet, Ontario? Watch me.
What did Ontario say?
He says I can't go nowhere. I have a beard. It stops right here. All masks come right up to the bottom of it. Intentionally cut that way.
Yeah, his under chin is shaved clean.
Yes. That way all the mess will fit properly.
All right, and the
Okay,
next, I think that's the end of that one. So now, what I would like from the chat, guys, everybody, ready? If you have a greenhouse, high tunnel, please post something that you have learned. I know Southern Bliss says he needs to add, he's already posted, he needs to add more ventilation for his. But give us something that you've learned about since you've had it. And let's see, where am I at here? I can get this other thing up here. Need to go to this one here. About okay, Kathy doesn't have one.
Oh, they're talking about something else, I think.
It's something else. Okay.
It's moving too fast. My old eyes can't keep up no more.
It's maybe turns to the west. Yeah, I don't have one. Is chocolate non-essential? Yes, you can grow crops year-round if you have the right, depending on the crops, how much room, if you're, some summer crops that are low to the ground, yeah, you can grow those in your basement or in a room or whatever year-round. If you're going to try to grow corn, you may want to do it out in the garage where it can actually grow, have a raised planter bed in there so it can actually grow tall enough. Yeah. I've also said sometimes for the plants, if your grow light, if you're able to do it, just have the whole thing on a the whole, not just little track lights, but have it so the whole thing rolls back and forth. But I think it was a Mother's News a couple of years ago. They're talking about that.
Just remember, if you're going to use grow lights, you got to mimic natural properties. They have to go off for a certain little bit of time.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you will actually cause your plants to burn themselves out by trying to grow too much.
Yeah.
You want to mimic your natural surroundings. So if you live in Minnesota, you've got X number of hours of daylight when they're growing. So that's what you want your lights to mimic.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Does not hold heat well as those greenhouse problems. One of the interesting things is with the greenhouse, depending on the material that's made out of, because I was shopping around for to build my own, and the materials run for the plastic for it, the soft plastic you stretch up and over like on a hoop house. What was that?
Visqueen.
No, it's not visqueen. It's thicker. It's not thicker than visqueen, but it's similar. It comes anywhere from 4 mil up to 12 mil thick. Now the 10 and 12 mil have like a 5-year warranty on it. So
yes, if I had a greenhouse, I could go hide because I have a wood stove in my bedroom upstairs. Can't use it in my bedroom upstairs right now, but I have one. It's my emergency heater.
I wouldn't call it a place to hide. I'd call it a place to go out and relax with Mother Nature.
Put a small hot tub at one end of it so they got constant moisture. You ain't got to worry about that. And while they're getting nice and warm, you can be in there getting nice and
warm. Yeah. One of the things I did see though is on the one Wallapini that I was showing from the guy in Nebraska, he has an 1.5-inch gap between his layers. So that really, if you run it up and over, you're able to run 2 things of the material. So you have like an 1.5-inch gap between. then you're going to get a lot better insulation and it's going to last a lot longer. One of the things I noticed that when I was watching Daniel, he had his high tunnel, and he said it still got cold in there. But what he did was he put the row tunnels, the little low tunnels over the rows. All right, Kathy, see you later.
Thank you.
Yeah, he put the row tunnels over the delicates that he had planted inside his high tunnel, and that way they survived several more weeks into winter.
Yeah, that would work.
Yep. And there's a lot of quote passive heating ways you can heat your greenhouse as well. Where was it? Northern Tool has on their website an air heater. It's supposed to be for your house. Basically, it goes on the side of the south-facing side of your house, and has just a little small fan. And during heat, it's all black, like ABS, heats up, and it just blows the warm air into the house. You could have the same thing set up for a greenhouse, but fill it full of water and have it just circulate the water into some barrels inside, so they heat the barrels up. You could also have get my mouth and brain to work in sync here, guys. Get one of the old style solar pool heater tube setups and run that to heat up the tubes that are under the ground. If you have raised planter beds in your greenhouse or they're buried deep in the soil, to heat up the soil more, so that even at night the soil is still warmer and it'll stay warmer longer. But yeah, there are a bunch of different ways you can research. Mother Earth News had some great articles years back on it. They probably have redone them, and I can't remember the name of the other one that was someone told me about. Let's see if I can find this really quick here.
Scientific used to have some interesting gardening write-ups too.
Yeah.
But that was a long time ago.
There, shoot, I lost where did I put that link? There was Anthony, or no, I think it was Reed at Manifestation of Imagination told me about this other publication, which is similar to Mother Earth News, that went out of business. But they put all the publications out as PDFs online, so you can go back and download anything for free. I can't seem to figure out if I can find it here.
This computer is acting like a 5-year-old spoiled brat.
No, I can't. No, my brain is like I posted last night. It's like I got 16 tabs open up here, and I can't tell where the music's coming from, and 3 of them are frozen. And I'm trying to remember where I put that link, because I've been downloading stuff, and I thought I had it set up with dang, I have to go looking deeper. I know I have it here somewhere because I've had a folder for all the ones I was downloading. I can't find the folder now. Bad me, unless it's at the bottom of this one here. Aha, there we go. I think home plans, health. Oh, darn it, that's not it. Anyways, I was going to share that, guys. We'll put that link out there for you guys. That's right. I cut my beard off. I lost my superpowers. But there are a lot of ways out there. If you look for articles on it, of ways for heating more less expensively, raised planter beds, so to extend the growing season there. Because then if you just have the little tunnel, the small tunnel over the planter box, and you're heating it from below, it's going to probably give you at least another month into the wintertime, or a month early to start planting there. So what sort of success have anybody have with those little low tunnels or row tunnels, or what do you want to tunnel tubes, you know, the row tubes or whatever else? What sort of success has anybody had with those?
Never tried it. Have no success.
Because I got one more place to go, guys. Here, I have another section of stuff to go to after we talk about these tunnels and stuff, and everybody else's success on things. This is going to open up a whole another area. So those that ducked out early thinking we were done, we got part 2 coming up. Okay. What's this one say here? This one say, yeah, it's called the Wallapini. And hey, Brett, you missed it last night. Last night's special, the spring equinox was all about starting spring cleaning, including cleaning the face.
Not happening.
Yeah. All right. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to go ahead and jump over to the other side here now. Okay, let's see. Let me pull this up here real quick to get rid of that. Don't. All right, so windows, indoor planting. How many of you do this? How many of you would like to do this?
I think Kathy does it.
Yeah. And there's a whole bunch. I mean, you know, as you start getting into this, there's all sorts of neat things here. Let's throw this one up here. They actually take soda bottles, turn them upside down, cut the bottoms off.
Cecilia was talking about that just a few minutes ago.
Yeah. Well, here's the bigger one of that picture. Yeah, and so they have where the water goes back down. They got the little PVC pipe above it, and just actually this one doesn't have it. They have most of them will have a PVC pipe, and they can just a little timer comes on, pumps for 5 minutes, and turns off. Some of them might get really into it. Here we go, where it have the rack for it and everything hangs on it. They got stuff like that. There are some really neat ones in here. They'll have in the water, it drains out the bottom. The cap will have a hole in it, and it'll drain back down into the container below, and then it pump the water back up again. And they just put nutrients into the water on those. And this one here, you can see where they got the tube coming out and dripping down to the next one and into the next one. So they got all sorts of, you use smaller ones to grow all sorts of herbs and stuff in your window. And some of these like this, they'll just drip out the bottom into the next one, to the next one. And what they do is they just cut a hole in the side to put the pots in. It just drips from one to the next, to the next, to the next, and it catches it down in the bottom here. They got tubes coming off the bottom that go down into this bucket at the bottom here. And then they just pump the water back up again. There's some really cool ones like that. But window gardening is another way to extend your growing season. One of the things I didn't find out here. Let's see if I can get the next one going on. I'll let you guys look at some of these. Oh, they also run the tier ones where it goes from one down to the next, down to the next. And some of these are a little bit different like that. They got the
say hi.
The regular trays. Hey, Titan.
There, say hey, buddy.
I should have brought this one up earlier, gallon. Barrel pots. Banners. See if that works. Yeah. There we go. Images. This is some of the stuff else you can do. You can keep these like in a garage or whatever, and then roll them back outside, or doing 55-gallon barrels. We used to have had citrus trees in them, and even a fig tree. And when it got too cold, they got rolled into the garage or undercover into the barn. When we were in Arizona, my mom had a fig tree in a 55-gallon barrel cut in half, and we moved that into a barn structure to keep it over the winter. But then you can also just use these outdoors for your raised planter beds as well. But if you're in a more northerly,
Have a good night.
more north, who's leaving?
Chris and Sharon.
All right, Chris and Sharon, take it easy. You have some of these on those little rollers you can get, that furniture dollies you can get it like Harbor Freight for $5, and you just if you want some citrus trees, you have them out. You roll it into the back portion of the garage for the winter. Have a grow light over it just to keep it going. Have oranges all winter long. So, and some of these ones here where they're growing out the side here, got strawberries coming out. You're going vertical basically, and you still have your footprint for growing as well. So you're getting like 4 times, 5 times as much growth space on one of these things. Another one where they got the little square pots at a 45 degrees to each other, so they sit on each thing and then just run them up, and they just plant, and the water goes from the top into the next one right on down, and then down to the one below. So there's a lot of different ways that you can extend your growing season. And here they're doing the same thing in a greenhouse. So if you have a greenhouse, vertical growing in the greenhouse, is really cool. This is one. I saw one like these, that one like set up like this that was actually in a window. It only had just one of them. But basically, it's like 2-inch or 3-inch pipe, and it goes back and forth. And they got their soil in there, and they got filters at the end to stop it from the soil from washing down. But it puts the water in at the top, and it just goes right on across, and it waters them all, goes down to the bottom, and it pumps it back up to the top. But you put that in your build something like that in a window, and you're going to have stuff going all the time. If you have a basement, put something like this in a basement and put grow lights down in there. You can grow summer crops year round. Oh, it died. Oh boy, Brett, that's not good. So yeah, got to start over. Was that the one that was hit by lightning and you were trying to save? Good to hear about your back doing better, Brett. Yeah, I got 3 bulging discs, 2 protruding discs, 1 flippy floppy disc. Yeah, so I know how back problems can be.
Same here.
But some of these ways, these are some really cool ways where you can.
I like the A-frame right there.
Yeah, the what?
The A-frame.
This one down here.
Yep.
Yeah. Now I've seen them make these using just regular the vinyl gutters. Mm-hmm. I've seen them do that with the vinyl gutters, and then they just have the watering tubes above it and going from one to the next to the next. Yeah. This way you don't have to have a lot of ground space to get a lot of plants. And the one I had up there before, let me go back. One of these ones with the pipes and stuff, or the one like this. And just showing the other type, or even the ones like this, where they got, you know, the stacked things, are ways you can put it next to your window and get, you know, it looks decorative, and you can get, you know, food out of it earlier. And if you do like on the A-frames here, you actually have the little cups set, you know, plastic pot cups things setting in there, so they're getting the water from you. When they're big enough, you just pull it out, go take it outside, plant it. But so those are some great ideas, I think. Tell me, do you think these are great ideas for extending your, oh, it was your pecan tree that was struck by lightning? That's right. Oh, you put it out too early and it froze. Ooh. Yeah, there's, you know, a lot of them do call for liquid fertilizers. There's some water soluble, totally soluble ones that Daniel Arms was talking about for his inline feeders he uses, and he also used it for the barrels he had with it. He filled it up with the nutrients, added the water soluble special fertilizer for it, and was growing his cucumbers in the 55-gallon barrels he drilled. He had he had the two bung holes in the top, and he drilled two more holes and dropped 4 things that had 4 cucumber plants growing out of it.
Don't forget your vitamins, folks.
Yeah, I got mine today.
Okay, I go get coffee so I can take mine. I'll be right back.
That almost sounds counterintuitive. Coffee and vitamins. Sorry, just my mind going weird. But yeah, the liquid fertilizer that Daniel says you don't use very much of it, and it works great. Yes, 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 yes. Tea manure would work in the water system. Because my mom used to do, when we had cows, we'd go out there and we'd collect it, and had a 55-gallon barrel, dump a bunch of stuff in, fill it up with water, and she had a spigot with a filter on the inside so it didn't get plugged up, and she'd drain the water off and water her some of her plants with it, and they go happy. And so now I'm not sure how much how lucky, I don't know how lucky we were, but she even had us put in that barrel some chicken manure too. That's what I was thinking. Taking your vitamins for your coffee, don't they cancel each other out? Isn't that like baking soda and vinegar? And you just but I was waiting for that one. I was waiting for someone to fire that one up there. And if CJ was in here, he would say beer is vitamins. So, guys, give me some feedback on what I presented here tonight. Some of the ideas. You think anything's worth looking into? I have some ideas of stuff I want to try down in the basement, but kind of also like hear what you guys think about some of these things. Now, I'm not sure if everybody's that's in here now has been here for the beginning. If you were not here for the beginning when I was showing the different types of greenhouses and stuff, let me know. Depends on finances. Well, I like to be a MacGyver, and I have a bunch of like for the gutter ones here and these things. I got a bunch of gutters sitting out there old vinyl gutters that I took off the house in California because the roofing company was going to put up the big heavy duty um, metal ones that had a 20-year warranty on them. So I saved all those. I've got a bunch of 55-gallon barrels around here, plastic ones. Most of them already cut in half.
And before anybody else adds another comment, I heard your comment, Gil. I had to finish off the last bit of coffee because I will not let it go to waste before I dive into my last bag of tea from Heaven's
All right.
Essential.
All right. Here, I'm going to show you what the comments were here.
Oh, I read the comments. I just read them.
Okay. Yeah.
My cat's trying to run off with the tea there, Heavens. So I have to keep trying to move it. She keeps trying to steal your tea.
Brett, I agree. The aquaponics with the fish is a lot nicer. I actually had a koi pond. I wanted koi. I built a koi pond. I built a huge filter for it with lava rock and stuff. And I had watercress planted in there. And I had the biggest watercress at the one end and smaller watercress at the other end because the first end was grabbing all the fish nutrients. And the water that came out of that filter going back into the pond was actually cleaner and healthier than the water out of my tap. So I had all the test things because koi fish are expensive, and I was testing it all to make sure I didn't lose, several $1,000s worth of koi. And yeah, we had a lot of watercress, and my wife was thinking about planting something else in it when something happened, and we decided we need to get rid of the koi pond, and we got rid of it and planted a bunch of citrus trees and other stuff instead. Yep, they work great for peppers. They work great for trees. If you got the like the ultra dwarf apricots, cherries, apples, the ultra dwarf citrus trees, they work great. My mom had had an orange tree in a 55-gallon half barrel for 9 years, and it still gave big oranges, maybe like 20, 30 oranges a year. Then we went and put it in the ground, and now it's huge, and it gives us about 60, 70, 80 big old oranges a year. Yeah. There was someone I saw that had a swimming pool, and he did videos on it and stuff. And he didn't want to use the video because of the water rationing and stuff. Didn't want to use the fill the pool all the way up, but didn't have the money to fill it in. Well, he filled it part way up till it got up to it started to what he didn't flow back over the shallow end. The shallow end was still dry, and he put tilapia down in there, and he put his barrels up above on the shallow end of it, and had the water running through it, and he was grazing all sorts of vegetables up there off the water from the tilapia. Which, if you have a way to do hydroponics in a basement, it's works really cool too, because then it stays basically the water stays one temperature year round, and because it's in the house and it stays heated with the house. Any other ideas or suggestions or things you found out that worked, or more importantly for the rest of us, things you found out that didn't work? If you can share something that did not work, it would help the rest of us not to make that mistake.
Yes, please. I can't stand making mistakes.
No basements in the South. Of course, it doesn't get quite as cold as it does up here either. You might be able to get by with just, greenhouse, high tunnel, and a wood burning stove inside there to keep it warm.
I have to go find my tin hat because there's a theory that's tin hat theory. Y'all down south, get prepared for some winter weather. The tilt of the earth is tilting some more.
Well,
Thought I'd throw that out there.
let me see if I can throw something up here real quick.
Careful, folks. Last time we threw something up, it splattered pretty bad.
That it did.
They had to go put on biosuits.
It's going to take me a minute to find it here, but it's really cool.
Oh dear, it's a big one. Watch out.
It's a big one. Dun, dun, dun.
Sorry, my cat's being needy at the moment. I quit petting her. She starts nuzzling my arm.
Bingo. All right, which one is it here? Trying to remember. It was this week. Trying to remember which one it was.
What's that?
Suspicious observers. Was it this morning's?
No, it was like 3 days ago.
Go to here then.
2 days have started to run together pretty bad. So
yeah. 2 days ago, 3 days ago. Weather. Here it is. 4 days ago. I think this is the one. Let's see if it shows it here.
Weather you're thinking about, Rustic. We're talking current Canadian weather down in Texas and Florida. The Arctic and Antarctic becoming somewhat tropical.
All right, here we go. I think this is going to be it here. So, all right, so let me move this over here. Okay, this is from 4 days ago on Suspicious Observers. And you're not going to be able to hear what he's talking about because, unfortunately, I don't have a good enough computer to be able to pull the sound from it. But he's talking about the weather changing and stuff.
He also mentioned the current tilt of the earth changing.
Yeah.
And it's scientific fact. It's proven. There's not hyperbole or fake.
But basically, he's talking about the weather tilt and the rain coming. And this may not have been the one that he was talking about it all the way on. Let's see here.
No,
no.
The Midwest will become the Arctic and Antarctic. Well, for us here, it'd be the Arctic. It will become snow year round. Yeah,
okay.
I love this.
All right, here he's okay. But anyways, he's talking about there's some of it. Talking about the weather pattern changes off the from the there's Hawaii right there. So there's the United States, and the way that things are shifting, the changing of the jet streams and stuff. And these are the graphics from the satellite infrared and ultraviolet images showing this is the water temperature and showing how the changing of the patterns is going, causing the thermal rise and settlings.
That's also the electric current, but
yeah,
that's another topic in and of itself.
Yeah, but gets down over here. Let's go across the bottom here. And that's the end of it.
Yeah, after that's just weather forecast.
Yeah, that's the way I'm trying to get the weather forecast. Now you look at the patterns here, and it shows how the snow is coming down a little bit. But the one today and yesterday, that snow is coming down more on the U.S. And so, yeah, the southern states may be getting a little more colder weather again coming up here in the next several days. The one that goes right along with that is jet stream.
Sometime in the next about 200 years or Rustic. It's the current.
Yeah.
Give or take 180 years.
Yeah.
So it could happen in 20 years, or it could happen in 220 years. We really don't.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's happened before.
That's the thing. That there's a timeline that's approximately 12,000 years that this happens, and they've figured that out by going through ice cores and geological data going back several thousand years. So I mean, it's not something that was just created in somebody's mind. There is geological proof to substantiate it. And I could care less. if Ohio turns into the Arctic and everybody starts leaving, that's more room for me.
All right, here's the jet streams. Watch the jet streams as we go through the week, and notice the stuff coming down from the north here in a little bit here, as we get the it starts curving, and right over here, what this is cold air. This is cold air coming down, and that cold air is still pushing down through here, and so this is turning into rainstorms and stuff.
Yeah, we had our thunderstorm last night.
Oh, this is now we're coming up on Sunday the 29th. And so look at this pushing down deep into here into Arizona, New Mexico, and it's continuing across in here, and it's still coming down. These lines are still dipping down into Texas, and it's going to come right on across. It may pick back up again, but this dip may continue all the way across. So let me back this up. You can see this is going backwards, projections. But because it comes across, and Sunday, this is
Gee, that one spot looked like a tiger.
yeah. Yeah, so that's the yeah, so this was starting today, and here comes the snowstorm that we're supposed to get this weekend. That's in the projections. But yeah.
Pretty.
Ooh, yeah, pretty
colors.
So this is another reason for greenhouses and stuff.
Hey, y'all, want to see what Charles did for me?
And spring.
Yeah,
Cool.
Good job. Daddy needed quiet time. He needed to do something. So he colored.
There is some merit to having a hotter U.S. summer if the industrial complex shuts down. So what I miss here. Yes, this up and down weather is terrible for us to get our garden in. Yeah, I know. It's like I got up there. I was on the tractor today for about 3.5 hours, working, scraping off all the weeds and stuff that came up in the fall, and that I hadn't get down because it was sprinkling, raining, snowing, everything, and during the fall, the end of fall last year, and couldn't get out there with the tractor. And so I've been clearing a lot of stuff today, and then it's supposed to be possibility of snow tonight, and then rain.
Well, please ship me some snow so I can let my kid go sledding at least once this year.
It's not going to be that much. It's going to be, we have early in the morning tonight. Early in the morning, 20% chance of snow. Then it's turning to rain. And then that's through Saturday, and then coming on over. Then again, Monday and Tuesday, we got 60%, 70% chance of snow and rain.
Actually, Tibor, on the one, I can back you up. Yes. Our summers here lately have been rather unusual.
All right, Jake, take care. Good luck with canning the chicken.
Yes, little busy house, you did. She popped in here and heard the S word.
You mean the big S word I had up there on the screen last night?
No, the one you just showed a few moments ago.
Snow?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, she wasn't talking about the poo-poo hitting the oscillating instrument.
No, I know. I'm talking about spring, that S word. No more snow. I know. I just sick and tired of snow. But it's like it's no accumulation. It's just going to come down. It's going to sit on the ground for about 5 minutes as it melts away and cools the ground back down again. Yeah. So, but yeah, like saying, hopefully next year we'll have more of our little mini tunnels built over the planter boxes. So in the fall we can have stuff planting longer, and next spring we'll be able to start it sooner. And I seriously want to get some of those thermal planter beds put in, because I know it'll make my wife much happier when she's up here, when I can keep those planter beds warm and growing longer.
Yeah, that front rolled through here this morning, Tibor. That's why it was nice and warm to start and went chilly afterwards.
Yeah.
But don't worry, if the Earth tilts another half a degree, you won't have to worry about water no more. It'll come down in frozen precipitation. The ground will be solidly frozen. You will need to dress like an Eskimo and live in an igloo. And I will move further north.
Because we leaving apartments empty?
No, it's because a lot of the people in rural Michigan can barely handle the winters there now. If it goes full Arctic up there, there'll be nobody there. I have all the room I need. And I know where several greenhouses are currently. Big ones.
What? Wait a minute. Did someone did he slip in here?
Who?
Kraken.
I didn't see him.
Saw someone mentioning Kraken down there. Replying to Kraken. Oh, Karen. Sorry, Karen. I need to get better glasses. Hang on a second here. I know it's wrong. I need to clean my glasses.
I don't want to clean mine. I'm afraid I'd see things I don't want to see.
Okay. Oh yeah, my eyes are just as blurry without the glasses as they were with the glasses. My kids, my grand.
A little busy just put, but she said, if anybody wants to find me in my massive house, she'll be starting her chicken egg incubator for the next 18 days. Or staring at
her. Yeah.
Rustic's got 6 more days until his hatch.
Whoa, I can see much better now.
Scary, isn't it?
Yeah, I didn't realize that my grandson put that much marks on it when we were playing downstairs on the floor. Yeah. All right, I got to know when I'll get the egg off my face now.
They were just talking about eggs too, so you added more to your face. Congratulations. Yeah. And I would never call you a Kraken. Have you ever seen what a Kraken looks like? If you've never seen a Kraken, look it up. Google it. They're pretty ugly.
Yeah.
Opinion. I would never call somebody a Kraken.
Yeah. Do a live stream on the incubator. Heck, there was one channel was running 24/7 on their goat yard. Mm-hmm. They did that for about a month or so till they got the watch hours up.
See, one of these days I'm just going to do a live stream of nothing but my laser printer going.
Make it more entertaining. Do it a live stream of your CCTV system showing all the idiocy out in the parking lot.
I would like to, but my camera doesn't read off the monitors worth of poop. Plus, not too many people would actually be able to figure out exactly where my apartment is. Yeah. I don't really care for that idea. Yes, they are small town. And it's not really a printer. It is a laser engraver.
Which is actually more fun than a laser printer.
Yeah, but see, I have to put a protective red lens in front of any camera on it so it doesn't burn your eyeballs or actually scar your monitors.
Yeah.
Because even though it's looking through a camera, it can actually scar your monitor.
Yeah. Well, you'd also need the red lens on it to protect the camera too. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, see, I was doing that the one Saturday you were taking care of family business, or Sunday, I mean, last Sunday. I had my
Hmm.
laser engraver going while you were dealing with stitches.
Yeah. Actually, I was dealing with the other kids here while our neighbor has the big, huge greenhouse, and my daughter took Eli to the hospital. So I stayed here taking care of the other kids and cleaning up the bathroom. But something came today to help protect the bathtub. And that was
Anti-slip mat,
sort of
anti-slip strips,
closer.
little rubber duckies that stick to the bottom so the kids can't pull them off and play with them.
A lot closer. Here it comes
Little
up.
rubber sticky flowers.
Hey, there
Yeah.
you go. Yeah.
No, not having that in my bathroom. No, way too much color. My son would rip them off the bottom of the tub. At
Actually,
April, he would still try.
Eli likes, he steps on them until he tries running around them. Because they weren't all, and he slipped when he was running back and forth around them on the edges where they weren't all the way up out to the sides of the tub. They were in the middle where everybody most people stand. He was running around it. So, yeah. So we got these 2 sets of them to go around the ones that are already down there. And so it's going to fix that stuff up. So, let me try.
Charge.
I just thought something popped in my mind here that I had up there partially before, but I didn't have it. Didn't do it right. When?
Ooh, hey Tibor, guess what? It's gonna be 19 degrees colder tomorrow. All right, Southern Blessed. You have a good night. Thanks for coming in. God bless.
See if that works. That brings it up. No, that's the outside. That's the inside stuff. Try this.
All right, they're busy.
Yeah, I think we're about done here. I just want to see if I can find one more thing to give you guys something else here to work with. And oh, there we go. Where you water top one, it waters down, waters down, waters down, waters down. Professionally made like that.
Money.
This one here is a homemade one version using looks like they're using old Clorox bleach bottles, the small one, the quart ones. And then here's the rain gutter job on the side of someone put on the side of their house.
I wish I could do that here.
And here's a bigger rain gutter one.
But you know, we can't tell my pastor's wife because she loves to garden and she has a whole bunch of seeds. I could just see my pastor's honey-do list now grow. Part number 35, install gutters to side of house. Part 36, install topsoil. Part 37, install watering system.
Yeah.
Poor pastor wouldn't get nothing finished.
Yeah. So this looks like they fill this bottle here on the end up with water, and it goes through the system here. And I'm not sure what's on the other end of it there for the water to disperse, but there are several ones like that.
Julie, did you notice? I'm fixing to drink the last tea you sent me. Although the cat keeps trying to snitch it. So if you need soaps, teas, or essential oils, go visit Julie. Oh boy, don't do that, Gil. Make all of us yawn.
There's a professionally made one which could probably be made very easily from soda pop bottles.
Mm-hmm.
And she has a little pump there, it pumps the water back up. Hydroponic water system. Yeah, there are some really cool ones. All right. Well, it's been an hour and a half, and I think we got everything here wrapped up here. Does anybody have anything else they want to ask? Or Cecilia's canning right now. Yeah, Cecilia, sorry, I was showing some stuff on the screen here, but it'll be so it's near the end, so you can go back and watch it, catch it right at the end there. All right, folks. Let's see.
Tibor, I'm not going to move north until all those bozos up there move south.
All right, Night Rustics edition. All right, so let me bring this back over here for a second and set this here up.
You want to say goodnight, Titan? I'm going to say goodnight, everybody.
And I gotta pop that. I didn't pop that other one up.
Good night.
All right, folks. So we will see you all later. Today's tomorrow. I believe Will is going live just in time prepping. Said usually goes live at 3 o'clock for about an hour, hour and a half. At 5 o'clock Mountain Standard Time, which is 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 Central. We'll have Survival Saturday, and the topic is what is a prepper, and are you one and just don't know it? And hopefully haven't gotten confirmation on it yet, but we're going to do a test tomorrow, and maybe we'll have Michael from Asymmetrical Preparedness on with us. And so,
and I'm thinking about doing a Sunday afternoon, Sunday early evening live stream. So stay tuned to Discord, because that's the easiest way for me to reach y'all as to what time and what the topic might be.
All right. Whew. And then after my one tomorrow night, I'm going to take about an hour break and come back at 8 o'clock, and we're going to update numbers and talk about things going on across the nation, what the responses are, and all that fun stuff of the Red Dragon. And so if anybody's interested, we are 360 away from busting 20,000 cases.
Did you catch Julie's comment? She said, "Night boy." That's why I said, "Good night, Sue Ellen." How many people remember the exact order and name of the end of that TV show? And what TV show was it?
Well, there was a TV show that was the name of the grain company where I get my wheat from.
Walton's.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, garlic chicken in the morning. I had just had Cajun chicken this evening. Haha.
Got to make sure. Yeah,
I got an alarm for your live.
Yeah, I got to make sure on that. Tibor got it Walton's, but I don't think anybody can remember the exact order.
I remember like half of it.
Yeah,
because it's been like 35 years since I've seen it.
Yeah, Mary Ellen, Sue something. Yeah, I can't remember. Yeah. Good night, Grandma. Good night, Grandpa. Good night, Mary Ellen. Good night, John Boy. Good night, da-da. Yeah. So everyone.
Third episode, it got really annoying to hear. We always turn the channel. Let's see what's over here on 5.
So with that, everyone, good night.